My real name is Marvillous, spelled Marvill. So I use that to spin off and make a stage name, Marvillous Beats.
Okay, well that makes sense because the spelling is a little bit unconventional
Right,
for
right.
Marvillous, and that explains it. So, as I read, you started playing violin at the age of 8, and you're still playing violin. So tell us a little bit about your musical evolution.
Wow. Well, I began playing violin because my older sister was playing first. She's like a year and a half older than me. That's how I wanted to do everything she did. So I started playing violin. Later down the line, she stopped playing, but I kept playing. And, probably like I started off, listening to a lot of reggae in the house. My father was also a musician, mostly in Jamaica with a traveling bands. So I listened to a lot of like Jamaican gospel music. Bob Marley, of course, a lot of Michael Jackson. So that's kind of like my upbringing. I got into hip hop later on. I got into like middle school, high school, and then I started writing my own raps, and I started making beats for the end of high school, and that really was kind of the first thing that took off when I started making beats. But I never combined making beats with violin though for quite some time. So I started making beats around 2008. To give you a timeline, I probably didn't combine violin and beats till like 2014, 2015. And it's kind of funny. It only came about because I started playing violin on the street. Everybody was telling me, "Hey, how come you don't combine violin with your production?" I was just like, I don't know. For a while, I was kind of wanted to keep it separate. I didn't see it together in my head, But when I tried it and got the reaction out there, I was like, oh, okay. So then I just really kind of rebranded myself as being more of a violinist and a music producer, and that just the rest is history, really.
Well, that's how I actually was introduced to you. It was about 2017. I was walking down Ellsworth Drive, and in the distance I heard beats. I heard violin, and I was like a hound dog. Following it until I found you. I was like, we need to talk, and that's how I wrote my last article about you.
That was awesome.
That's right, yeah. Rebecca, you wrote an article for the Takoma Voice about Marvillous Beats several years ago.
Beats in the Street, I believe we called it.
Yep.
So your musical education as a child was more of a classical training?
Yeah, definitely. So Suzuki, we spoke before off air. A lot of people don't know about that, but people who know, Suzuki gangs, I say. So I went through Suzuki training, which is just a rudimentary training for classical musicians, and started at 8. I took private lessons, like real classical. Went to I forgot how many levels there are in Suzuki. There's probably like 10, 11, 12. I went to like 6 or 7, stopped there, and that took about 6 years. So I probably stopped taking private lessons at like 14, 15 when I started playing football. I didn't want to trade the time, so that's how it happened. But I just kept playing, orchestra. I still played in orchestra at school, so that was cool. But after that, I was just teaching myself. After that, yeah.
Well, let's hear a little bit of your original music.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
got something for us?
Yeah.
session called?
This one's called Sanity. Sanity. You can just search Marvillous Beats Sanity, and that should come right up. So there's actually two versions of that song. I think the instrumental version now. There's also another version where I'm rapping on that version. So and the story is more about just kind of not going after materialistic things in life, kind of accepting the blessings that you have in life that comes to you, and not getting lost or stray from your journey, just staying kind of focused. So I think it's a great message. Definitely family friendly, so you can play it for everybody.
I'm curious, are you able to rap while you're playing violin?
You know, that's the next thing I'm working on actually. So it's gonna be, that's kind of why I want to keep my face on this journey, you know. So like a lot of things that you're seeing now are actually kind of fresh to me. So it's like, I think it's kind of interesting to me because there's so many layers to my creativity that I'm still kind of like figuring out. So I just think that one of the coolest things about my journey is I know there's a lot of people in my position. I mean, adults who used to play instruments, you know, put them down for years. Because there's a time where I didn't play a single note of violin for about 5 years. And that was when I graduated from college. When I graduated from high school and went to college. I really wanted to focus on architecture. So I was still making beats, but I wasn't really playing violin at all. So it was like a 5-year stretch. So I picked it back up and I just kind of like used my passion as fuel for like, I'm going to keep playing and get this rust off and keep going. And it just kind of happened. You know what I mean? So I feel like, you know, combining rapping while playing violin, that's definitely down the line. I just want to like, you know, one, get it to a point where I would like to share with everybody. At the same time, kind of bring people on that journey. So all the fumbles, you know, all the mistakes, and also all the victories, everybody be a part of that.
I'm super glad you backed up after 5 years.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad too. I mean, to be honest, it all spurred from a surprise gift from my girlfriend at the time, which was this violin. It was my first ever electric violin. So I got that. I was like, okay, this can't go to waste. So I'm like, I'm going to play this no matter what.
What kind of violin is it?
It's Cecilio. It's more like a starter electric violin. So, but I love it. I like how it feels in my hand and everything. So I just like stuck with it, and it's like a symbol. You know what I mean? So like everybody, you're the guy who plays the white violin. It's like a branding. I was almost like, can I switch to violin now? I did play a black violin before for a long time. I came back to this one. So.
I think one of the anxieties, at least I feel about the 21st century, is that it seems very much like a do-it-yourself century. In the 20th century, people kind of thought about, you know, you get into a job, you keep that job, hopefully you keep your head down, you're in there for 40 years and you're out. And, you know, now there seems to be a different kind of economy, and so on the one hand, it's kind of a challenge, but it also presents an opportunity, I think, which I see in your own approach, which is, now I don't know if you're creating a genre, if this is an established genre, or if it's basically, you know, genres just don't really exist in the same way they used to.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just watching an interview on, I think, Coachella, the concert over there that's going on live. They were just talking about on their panel about our genre's dead. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's funny you ask that. I just play what I like. Honestly, at this point, I sometimes don't even think about it. I mean, I know most people who look outside of them, they always just hip hop, rap, fusion, classical. So I guess I just start there. So,
but I'm thinking because you know, in the past, you know, maybe you would have gotten into a symphony and worked your way up to first violin, and then that's your career. And instead, you know, you're out busking, you're creating your own compositions.
I love the economy of the music industry now, especially because for people like me, whether you're a musician or a recording artist, because you don't have to depend on getting a label's attention. You know, with everything coming down to, you know, social media, setting up your own email list, you know, being able to release music yourself through digital distributors. Like, I've been studying this industry for like the last 10 years. Like, I got in, it was like, for example, almost everybody and their mother now is on the internet making beats and DJing. But when I first got into it, you know, when the internet kind of was getting there, you know what I mean? It was just wide open, you know what I mean? And there wasn't a lot of structure. A lot of people didn't understand things like performance rights organizations who collect royalties, things like that. So like all of that became more like kind of more prevalent to the independent artists when it became so easy to one get software to make music and release music. You know what I mean? So just like, well, that's one of the things I do now. A lot of artists, I also, you know, engineer people's music too, and they don't know a lot of this. So I'm kind of like, you know, teaching people as they come through. I'm like, hey, you don't have to do that, or or don't put this out until you copyright it, or like put an IRC code on it at least, you know. So I'm just like letting people know, like, you can make a living off your music a lot easier than you could before. It doesn't have to be $500,000 a year, but you can make 60-50 a year from your music if you just run it like a real business. You know what I mean? So I think it's so much more tangible now. You know what I mean? So like I just like seeing, especially when I come across people who are like talented or even more talented. I'm like, and they're like, they have like all this following, but they haven't like really created an infrastructure to monetize it. I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Do this, this, that, this isn't that. You know what I mean? And then, you know, like a year later, they come back like, yeah, you're right. I'm just like, yeah.
So in the past, the musician would be looking to get discovered, and now you're saying a lot of musicians, if they can think like business people, then, you know, they can create their own path for their creativity.
Very easily. Very
I see
easily.
a new podcast coming, Marvillous Marvel. Economics on the street.
Marv the plug. It's very funny to say that. I actually literally just like designed this whole new logo that's like more Nike swooshes than my one now, because I'm thinking of, you know, opening up the brand a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see what happens as far as podcasts go.
So you said your sister's also a musician. Do you have your family?
As you say that, we all, you know, my mother, I remember her telling me she played like trombone back in the day and stuff. I've never seen her play it, but she told me she tried it back in the day. And like, I already know my dad was like a singer, and he's a percussionist too. And you know, my brother, he's like a super dope lyricist and rapper. His lyrics are crazy. My sister, she's more of like a dancer now, and she's actually into like actuary. That's like her career, you know. So that's what she does. But I think I definitely was the one that kind of shot off the musical stuff. We all have like, you know.
And how are your folks? You know, are they supportive of your career? Do they follow?
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know how much time we have. I can go to, you know, a long story about that. I mean, I did college because, you know, it was and I did architecture because I like focus on really like art and science. So my mother, she was just like, whatever you want, just make sure you lock in something, you know, that's gonna like, you know, kind of hold you down. But you know, when she started obviously to see like, you know, recognition, newspaper articles, you know, things like that. Like, all right, you know, keep going. But now she's like full-fledged fan. You know, she's going to everything I do. I opened up for the huge Hudson Yards at NYC. It was open. It was like a new station, new mall, and everything like that. It was like such a cool experience. So she came to that, you know, recorded it and everything. So it was like she's super supportive. You know what I mean? She always was. She just wanted to make sure that, you know, while you're doing that, lock that down first. And after that, do whatever you want. I'm cool. So I was like, all right, I did that. I looked at grad school and I said, nah, I'm gonna go try this out, and you know, here I am now. I don't regret a thing, so I'm good.
Well, I'm super glad that you have not given up the violin, that you quit architecture and you moved on to making beats in the street for us. We love it here.
I appreciate that. Thank
and
you.
when you
really
have
do.
major events like that opening you just did, please reach out to talk to them.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha, no problem. Yeah, it's like family now, so we here.
It's interesting to me that you're you know, connected to, you know, these you know, different that, you know, you're producing music, and you're also out busking, which is how Rebecca first saw you. Why do you busk? What do you like about busking?
Oh man, I mean, other than the money, man. I mean, like, but nah, I mean, it's crazy.
Do
like,
you make a lot of money
yeah,
busking?
I think definitely. I mean, especially in this city, every busker does, because like it's just the culture here, and that's what's so important. And like right now, this whole Don't Mute DC kind of thing that's going on, where I don't know if you heard about it, but a lot of the culture is trying to get stifled, you know, in certain ways. For example, the biggest thing is down over on Georgia Ave. That T-Mobile store. There's a guy there who's been there for a long time playing go-go music.
No more go-go.
And yeah, and I'm just like, you know, a lot of my friends who are also buskers, you know, saying, or you know, are activists, kind of like going out, you know, protesting that. And I agree. Like when I came out here to DC from New York, you know what I mean, at least in the streets, you gotta like show your respect. I can't just come out here and pop up, start down people's blocks. You know what I'm saying? I had to like take my time and like show love and like even donate to the homeless people in the area. Like, you know, it's like I didn't feel right within myself. I know how to move, so it's like, and I really appreciate that people in the streets was giving me respect and giving me love. I'm like, yeah, you good, you know, you out here. So I don't know, like when I see like the culture getting attacked in DC, I feel some type of way. I'm like, I love the culture out here. You know what I mean? So I mean, I get it. Maybe it doesn't have to be so loud music. I get that, you know. But trying to eradicate it completely is kind of like, all right, a bit extra. You know?
Do we have time for one more song?
Yeah, why not? Maybe, let's see. Maybe I'll do a popular cover this time, just give you guys something to jig to. Maybe like, I know everybody loves this song. How about Bruno Mars? That's what I like. Everybody loves that. Alright.
So we have to thank your girlfriend
yes, we
for
do.
getting you that electric violin.
Shout out to Ketsia.
What would you be doing right now if you had not taken the violin back up?
Probably designing bathrooms and cabinets somewhere. No, I'm playing. I'd probably be finding my entrepreneurship edge on that, most likely. I do like to just be an entrepreneur, period. So I would have done something like real estate, which still could happen down the line. And I think I would still be making beats, on my free time. And still
Thank
doing
you.
that.
You're not a real estate agent right now. I'm really grateful for that. I'm pretty sure everybody within a 6-mile radius in their car has the windows down and their arm out, making that little seagull motion, enjoying your beats.
I appreciate that. No doubt. I'm super, super blessed. Thankful.
So unfortunately, we're almost out of time. So let our listeners know how they could find out more about your music.
Okay, definitely my website is easiest, marvbeats.com. That's MARVBEATS.com. Then you can sign up for my email list, where I pretty much send a newsletter once a week, or once every other week when there's a whole bunch of new shows coming up or a song coming out. Pretty much anything. News about my band Control Chaos or my label 39th Records. You can keep up with everything very easily. Marvbeats.com.
All right, so it's Marvillous Beats, and then the website again?
Marvbeats.com. So it's like a shortened version of Marvillous Beats. So it's
All right.
Beats.
Well, thank you, Rebecca, actually, for,
Yes, thank you,
for
Rebecca.
booking Marvillous Beats. I really appreciate that, and I'm sorry that I always give you about a minute to go over.
I'm a fast talker.
Yeah. So, can you in about a minute tell us what's going on in town?
Without a doubt. So earlier I heard your guest, your young farmer woman, who was fantastic. I love listening to that. I also heard she happened to be at Crossroads Farmer Market, which is the first thing I want to talk about. On Wednesday the 17th, we're jumping into Earth Day celebrations with the Crossroads Farmers Market opening day at 11 a.m. It's on University Boulevard. And Crossroads is actually going to be giving away $5 tokens to all guests to spend on amazing healthy foods, plants, and flowers. And there's also going to be live music, food demonstrations, and activities for the kids. So that's going to be really fun on a Wednesday afternoon. The very next day on Thursday, the Silver Spring Art Tour kicks off at 5:30 at TTT's Tacos, Tortas, and Tequila. How do I not know how to pronounce?
Tacos, tortas, and
Tequila.
Tequila. Tacos, tortas, and tequila.
I do my best. So it's on Ramsey Avenue, right across from the Silver Spring Metro. That's where it kicks off. It's going to be discussing Neo-Indigenous. It's a mural created by graffiti artist and Mexican native Marco 27. There's free appetizers, and they're served before the tour, which continues until 8, showcasing many of the impressive murals in downtown Silver Spring. You can learn more at downtownsilverspring.com. And the very last thing I want to mention is this coming Saturday on 4/20 at 11 a.m. we start an amazing celebration, and it's not what you think in Takoma Park. We celebrate Earth Day. We're celebrating sustainability, music, and healthy living, and more. There's many demonstrations, speakers, and performances, including a 3:15 show by local legend Valentine Slim. And it's all taking place at the TKPK Co-op on Ethan Allen Avenue. Also, I just want to say bring a toy or two to participate in a little kid's toy exchange.
All right, Rebecca, I truly apologize for not giving you enough time to really fill us in. I think it's a great new segment, and I want to keep, make sure that you have enough time to let people know what's upcoming. So thank you very much, and thank you for bringing Marvillous Beats back to the studio. Thank you, Marvillous, for your marvelous music. And I want to thank the Crossroads Community Food Network, particularly Michelle Dudley, Liz Whitehurst, and Morgan Wiggin. And a special shout out to Howard Cohn and Diana Cohn for letting us know about what's happening with the Takoma Foundation and Historic Takoma, primarily the upcoming House and Garden Tour. And then finally, Licia Monfort, thank you so much for being our neighbor this week. And that's it for Talk of Takoma. And we will be talking to you next week from 1 to 3, Takoma Park.